Hello, here I am again. Um, Firstly, um, before I go into my usual rambling about the main reason why I'm here today, I want to thank everybody who watched the last upload from 3 or 4 weeks ago and who left comments and supported it, who liked it, um, and uh, as importantly, to those, I want to thank those who also orders in and bought the books that I was trying to push on that particular upload. So I really appreciate it. I you know, it was good. It was a nice response, far more than I expected. Don't know what I expected exactly, but as I keep telling people, I expected maybe 50 people to watch the upload, um, and even fewer to respond in any other way. But yeah, I had lots of support, and it seemed quite effective in helping me to um, push some more books, and also perhaps people quite well. I know people enjoyed learning something about what goes on behind the scenes, because I had lots of emails and messages regarding that, and it was quite warming for me. So. Um, and it's encouraged me to do another one, which is why I'm here now. Um, Again, a little bit apprehensive regarding this thing. Don't want to make it too regular. Um, do have some ideas though that I won't divulge right now. Um, but I would like to maybe expand on this in some other ways at some point in the future, in hopefully the near future. Um, yeah, because I definitely don't feel comfortable just talking into a camera. Uh, but there's a reason why I'm doing that now, and that essentially is because I thought this time I'll just talk about the vinyl releases that I put out or try to put out on my labels, and to that end, I should make clear the fact that there's been an overwhelming amount of problems with vinyl production since last year. Totally out of my hands, totally out of my uh, um, dare I say, my production partner, Steve Pittis's hands. Also a good friend as well, but he deals with my production, my vinyl production, and it's totally out of our hands. It really is. Lots of small labels and artists and groups are experiencing exactly the same problems as we are, um, and since the beginning of the pandemic, um, it's been a nightmare trying to put vinyl out. And anybody that keeps up to date with my newsletters that I send out via email, or if they keep up to date with my posts on social media or whatever, then they'll be fully aware that certain releases of mine have been delayed severely, um, purely because of the backlog at the production plants, vinyl at the factories. There's a huge backlog, partly to do with the mostly to do with the pandemic, of course, and the situation and the lockdowns that kept happening up until earlier this year. And on top of that, there's Record Store Day. They put huge pressure on the plants as well, and I'm not going to moan about Record Store Day here. Um, but it does, this event does put plants under an extra amount of pressure from labels that have got far more clout than the kind of labels that operate, and many of my friends operate, and whatever. We just don't have that kind of clout, you know. We're right. We're amongst the the sawdust, you know, if you like. You know, if we could, you can imagine a factory floor or a sawmill or whatever. We're there at the very bloody bottom, you know, just waiting to be trod on. So, you know, that's where we are. Uh, yeah, it's all well and good because there are some advantages to that as well, but the a huge disadvantage is that we're shoved right to the back of the queue. And I've been waiting for Sean Organ mini album to happen, mini LP to happen on Lumberton Trading Company since late last year, late last autumn even. Yes, there were one or two problems encountered ourselves. The test pressings had to be redone. Because there was a mistake with the first set, not with the actual production, but there was a mistake in the music, or even a couple of mistakes. I can't remember now what Sean said, but they were rejected. We had to start again, and we've also got the. So I've been waiting for them, you know, for 8 months now. No, sorry, 10 months, almost a year. Yeah. So, and the alternative TV, Was It White and Sticky 12-inch, the tribute to Throbbing Gristle, homage to Throbbing Gristle, whatever you want to call it, by, excuse me, Mark Perry and the boys. They you know, that's been in production since late January. We had test pressings, I think, in late February or March. They were approved, and I was told last month that they might be ready then, but they're not. I was told last week that they might come anytime now. Still waiting. We're, you know, almost up to the middle of this week. So again, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody here. It's definitely not my good friend Steve Pittis's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's pure, and I'm not even really blaming the plants because they're just overwhelmed. There's just too much pressure on them, and of course the labels with the money always go to the front of the queue. And you know, as I said earlier, you know, small labels just get swept aside, crushed, put to the very back. You know, that's how these things work. You know, it's just the nature of the beast. So that's why there are huge delays with my vinyl production, or with my vinyl releases at the moment. So I'm waiting for Sean Organ. I'm waiting for the ATV 12-inch. There's the two Kleistra reissue LPs, one being a one-sided LP that I put into production in February or March, I think. Still waiting for test pressings. The Edward Caspel 10-inch on Lumberton Trading Company, still waiting for test pressings for that as well. So, and then I've got two other vinyl releases: the Nick Mott LP, an art booklet package, and the Mummies and Madmen LP reissue of an old cassette by Alan Ryder. You know, Adventures in Reality again. They were waiting for these current releases to be done, you know, because I just can't afford to do that many in one go. So they're kind of in the wings, and I thought I would have those ready to go into production at the beginning of this year or even late last year. So everything is a year out, basically. I apologise if anybody wants their money back because they pre-ordered anything. As always, I'll always oblige that. Yeah, it's a long wait, but it's totally out of my hands. In my newsletters, I've been to elaborating on some of these points as well, and also in emails, in personal emails to people, and messages. CD production is just so much easier. It's faster. It's um, you know, I've got a Richard Young's CD in production at the moment. I think they will. I think that particular album, Ica, will land this week or next week. I don't know, but that was put into production 4 weeks ago, perhaps. It's just a different. It's just a completely different situation. But anyway, that tells you something about the vinyl that's waiting to happen. In the meantime, I like I said with the books, I've always got old stock here that needs to go, simply so I can use the space ready for the new releases as they happen. I certainly hope the new ATV 12-inch will be here any day now, or maybe next week. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping for. And then the Sean Organ mini LP will follow accordingly. Hopefully, within 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't know. So I was told by Steve that maybe both releases would happen in August. Well, it's August now. We're almost up to the middle of the first week. So I'm keeping I'm not superstitious, but fingers crossed and all that. We will see. In the meantime, as I said, there's plenty of old vinyl releases you can get. I'm going to do exactly what I did last time and show you them. Still got lots of copies of this, the Ramley 7-inch that I did at the end of 2019. Fantastic 7-inch. I've got a couple of boxes of those left. Really good release. Nothing like the Ramley that lots of people might expect. In fact, it's quite glam rock. It's quite a stomper. It's a bit punkish as well. We jokingly called it the punk rock single anyway. The Ramley guys and myself, as we pushed it. It's not punk rock, but it's Ramley, and you never know. You never know exactly what you're going to get with Ramley. It's another reason why I like this group. And Anthony and Gary, you'll always get something different from them. The same goes for alternative TV. Mark Perry, you never know exactly where his group will go next. He's got lots of different ideas. This is a 12-inch that I released for Record Store Day in 2018, I think. It was an experiment that completely failed. I've still got lots of these hanging around. Sorry to the artists that that these releases relate to as well. It's absolutely nothing. It's no detriment to them. I like to think I put out really, really good music. And the cynic in me. I get lots of music sent to me. I write about it sometimes. I get lots of crap sent to me as well. So I like to think I know more or less what's good and what isn't, and I don't release anything that I don't like. There are certain people whose attitude perhaps surpasses that, and I'm happy to support them because this attitude runs concomitant with the different ideas for music they have as well, and of course ATV and Ramley are good examples of that. I've still got lots of copies of this reissue of the This World Is Not My Home by Kleishvar, and backed with the Over Your Heads Forever album. Both came out on Fourth Dimension a number of years ago as CDs, and they were remastered by Sean Organ for I think they were remastered by Sean Organ. He usually does my remastering. Really good guy as well, so shout out to him. He's the person to go to for mastering jobs and pre-production work, all of that kind of thing. He knows what he's doing. He does a good job, and yeah, I've still got lots of copies of great albums. uh, didn't even press that many. We only did 300, I think, and I still got ugh, lots of these sitting around. Don't know why. Really don't know why. I mean, This World Is Not My Home is one of Gary's, um, I think, most triumphant albums. It's such a great record. It really, it's fantastic music. I love everything he does, but if I'm to, if I'm put at gunpoint and told to say which ones of his work are my favourites, this would be one of them. It's such a mind-blowing album. It really is. It again, there's always a streak of humour running throughout. They're all. I don't know what people think, but I think people think they're all mysterious and sitting around in dark rooms and being gloomy or whatever. But there's always a tiny, subtle thread of humour in all this. Gary calls it bleak psychedelia. I think it came from a review. It's quite apt. It's quite funny as well. Bleak psychedelia. That sums it up really. Although Gary goes all over the place within his own sound, within his own framework of music, but he does tease it, he pushes it. There are lots of other ideas in there. I find it funny when he writes to me and says maybe you won't like it. I always like his music. I think he's really, really underrated. So and as is this guy as well, Richard Youngs. So I've still got lots of copies of this. This came out earlier this year. It's the one vinyl release that I've managed to see through in the last year and a half. And that was also caught up at the factory for a long, long time. Caught in production for a long time. Metal Rev, an uncomfortable listen. It's not like some of Richard Young's other work. Another artist that can go all over the place with his music. He's a fantastic player, and he can do really interesting songs, singer-songwriter stuff, and far more things beyond that. This is quite an uncomfortable record. We had a little fun. He usually asks me if I've got an idea for him to play around with, and I said it would be nice if he did a noise album. He's quite good at doing noise, so it makes me think of having a root canal job being done. That's the sonic equivalent of a root canal work, but having your root canal work done, it's pleasant afterwards because you feel good, and you definitely feel good listening to that as well. So there we are. There's some vinyl. I've got other vinyl releases as well, still hanging around. Still got copies of the Faust double LP that came out on Dirta, but we subtly included a Lumberton Trading Company catalogue number on there as well, because it was a reissue of a thing that a live album that came out on Lumberton, and I think Audio Tong. Poland's Audio Tong many years ago. So still got copies of that, and I'm doing my usual rambling away. Said enough about vinyl, and again, huge apologies to everybody who's waiting for vinyl releases for Edward Caspell. Edward Caspell's 10-inch, Kleischwar LPs, the Sean Organ. Yeah, I'm desperate for that to come out. I'm on it. So Sean included my vocals on the first track on side A, and they're definitely vocals that are a bit somewhat different for me as well. So he made me sound coherent, which is really odd. Made me sound like a proper vocalist. So, but yeah, and I'm definitely not. So I don't even like my voice. So surprisingly, anyway, so to round things off, I I've also got hundreds of CDs sitting here as well. Didn't really want to focus on those, but my latest addition to the Big Cartel shop, which I'll be putting a link to under this, like I did last time, it, was for a bundle of 6 CDs, including Theme, my group with Stuart Carter, good friend of mine again, great guy. Also, I think a really good musician, and you know, it's mostly his work. I just ruin everything with my vocals, and yeah, but we bounce ideas around together. But it's mostly him. He's another underrated artist, I think. The Eugene S. Robinson from Oxbow and Philippe Petit album, still got lots of those sitting around. Sean Organ, oh, there's shrink wraps coming off this one, this particular copy, but that album from several years ago, found another box of these recently. So Ramley, found more of those in a move recently. The new or the latest JFK reissue that I put out, reissue of a 2017 LP from the US. Stunning music, and the Jacek Staniszewski CD that came out on Lumberton several years ago. Abstract electronics, quite uncomfortable in places as well. I do like music that makes you squirm sometimes. I don't just listen to Wire and The Cure like some people think, but yeah, I like all kinds of music. Anyway, but there we are. So that's the latest set, just simply to try and generate funds for my Richard Young's CD. Really, as I said, I've got a Richard Young CD expected to arrive any time now, and his latest album for Fourth Dimension. So, and I've got hundreds of CDs sitting here as well. So I'd rather just see them all go to good homes, even if I'm almost giving them away. So don't just stream and download, get physical, look at this, it looks great, I think. So that's my CD collection. You can't really see my vinyl collection here, but I've got loads of vinyl around as well. So nah, don't think you can see. Yeah, there you go. Turn the camera around. There's some vinyl. Yeah, and maybe some. I don't know. Can you? Yeah, there you go. My little hub. So, thank you very much for listening, watching again. If you've done that, I've rambled on a bit more than I intended to. It's about the same length as the last one. I know I trip over my words sometimes. I'm not scripting anything. Obviously, this is probably even my 4th attempt at this particular upload. I hope some of it made sense, and thanks again. Buy something, please. Money always goes towards the next releases, and they're all good releases. Everything I do is fantastic. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise, and I believe in these artists very much. So thank you very much, and maybe I'll be doing another one of these in another month or so. I've got some ideas to expand on this, as said, but as said before, but we will see. Still a little uncomfortable doing this, but maybe it will bring in some results. Thank you very much. Bye bye.